committed performance, isn't
it? Yeah, I think A, they probably respected Fulham's quality, and B, they respected the effort and the application of the players. 3 really young players in our side. Hanno, Masengo, Pereira, Jay Da Silva, and had to stay really concentrated. I thought we showed some real good footballing breaks throughout the game, certainly the first half, and then second half good to get the goal. Good performance against a good side, and that's 4 points we've taken off like a top side with 100 million start. You know what I mean? And I think that's credit to the players, and I'm disappointed, of course, that we didn't see it through, and that's happened now in 2 games. We just got to find those moments to manage the game better. Their goal comes originally from our throw-in, and that's been 2 or 3 times in the last set of games where that's the start of the phase has come from that. So we've got to be better at that, but unfortunately we are still work in progress due to the number of changes that have been forced upon us throughout the season.
Start with the downside, which is another injury to Nathan Baker. He gets too many, doesn't he? And what is it this time? He doesn't seem to be able to put 6 or 7 games together.
Yeah, it's frustrating because I think it's a form of concussion. I'm not sure whether the concussion is too strong, but it's definitely something that Bakes, that we've discussed over the time that I've had him, and it seems to keep happening now. It's a catch-22 because he's a really brave player in the way he throws himself at things and throws himself at the ball, but you don't want a centre-half coming off as consistently as he has, and obviously it restricts your tactical future in the game because you lose a sub, and often you want to use the subs for attacking prowess.
You can see why injuries picked up because you say they're throwing bodies in line of the ball, and that's been happening away from home, but it happened today again under period of pressure, particularly in the first half, and everyone was diving in. It was such a determination to stop the ball going in.
Yeah, and I think that you're going to have to show that. In any championship game there's going to be spells. We're not the finished article. We're not good enough to dominate for 97 minutes of the game. So at times this year we picked up some great 1-0 wins, some great clean sheets, and we work on that a lot, the attitude to defend, because it's not just a technique, it's an attitude. And again, with young players in the team, like sometimes you can fall short with a 1-2 or a bit of a mistake, but they stood strong and stayed concentrated, and we had chances of our own. If Andy can slide that one out, as we've got a 3v1 overload, and that takes us to 2-0. Naki was convinced that it was a foul on him in the build up to their goal. He felt it was that he didn't get. Look, am I happy? I'm happy with the effort and the application, much as I said about the fans. Of course I'm disappointed, I won't lie. I don't like conceding leads, and that's the bit where we've got to be a little bit better in that game management.
Never easy for goalkeepers who've been out for a while to come in, but I think he was terrific against it, wasn't he? The save off the header at the end was probably the best one.
That was a fantastic save, because he wouldn't have had a lot of time to see that, and obviously credit goes not only to him but the goalkeeper coaching department and the fitness guys to make sure that he's sharp and ready. He hasn't played too many under 23 games, and that's the dilemma. It's like that box management. Last week arguably we could have done better with a goal, but certainly this week it was a sterling performance in terms of big saves.
I don't know if you've had the chance to speak to Bobby Reid, but he could have had a hat-trick on the day quite easily. Good defending and good goalkeeping kept him out.
Yeah, we know what Bobby's about, don't we? And I'd rather Bobby still be here, let me tell you. So it's not a case of me personally wanting him to leave. You saw what we done with him as a football club and what he done for us, and he really lit up in that final season as a striker. So when he gets in the box, he's got the technique and the centre of gravity to wriggle and get those shots off, and it can be hard to stop. So fortunately today, either through good defending or good saves, we managed to stop him.
Just finally, 125th anniversary game, big day for the club. And you marked it with not a win, but with a hugely committed effort.
Yeah, and I think that's the way we've got to move forward for the next 125 years. Not just 9 games, I thought the crowd were excellent. A lot of credit should go to the people that organised. Listen, the Lansdowns need a mention in the 125 years, absolutely, because of the finance and the commitment they put in, not just to the football club but to the city. And it was a nice occasion. It would have been nicer with 3 points, but like you say, there's something to build on, something to grow on, and now we've got 9 games to keep building that performance with what is relatively new partnerships all over the pitch.
Where was Marcus Henriksen today? Was he injured or was he?
No, just not in the squad. I was disappointed in his performance against Huddersfield, and obviously since then he hasn't been in the squad twice. But he's still an important part of the squad, and he's just got to build his way back up the pecking order. He was excellent in training this week, and it's tough with those subs because you're trying to piece together various scenarios of what if, and inevitably there's a couple that Rowie today was left out, and Marcus, because today I felt it was a sort of an energy / centre of gravity type game that was required, not so much that physical strength.
And Adam was ill, is that right?
Yeah, and Adam Nagy he had a temperature of like whatever it was, 39 and a half, and then resting heart rate of like 95 or something like that. So not fit enough, not well enough, sorry, to play.
Do you put the downturn in form down to anything other than it just being the Championship? I'm thinking in terms of because we had the 4 wins, didn't we?
Yeah.
3 defeats and now 2 draws. Good.
Yeah, well, I see the draws as good draws, to be honest with you, and I think they give us a platform to go and build. Obviously, we've played top teams as well in this run, and we can compete against the top teams. We let ourselves down at Leeds through difficult circumstances with what went on in the squad. West Brom, I actually personally didn't think it was as bad, but it was, of course, 3 really big mistakes. And then Huddersfield, as you know, I was very, very low, so and was a poor performance. So something had to change from Huddersfield, and therefore the last 2 performances I think have shown that, and then it's a case of building on that and making sure either we see out the win or go and, as we play, I'm not being disrespectful, but as the teams are not the top 3 with Premier League resources, if you like, then we should be able to go that one step further.
Sorry. I was just mentioning Corey. That's his sort of game, isn't it? And I thought today he looked like the player he was, when he was fit for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Corey's had such a difficult time, because we know how important he is to us, and we know how we haven't had him for a long period of time. So I think it shows his desire, his professionalism, to be able to come back. And when many thought, even in the medical scene, that he may not be back to his best, I think he proved that to everybody today.
The teams above you have been pretty inconsistent over the last few weeks. Do you see that continuing, or will you need to put together a bit of a run? Well,
there's no doubt we've got to put together a run, but the run comes from the process of a good performance. You know what I mean? And like I say, those performances have been better in the last 2. Still bits we've got to improve, but we haven't had a pre-season with these players. We're it sounds crazy, but we're actually, if you look at the partnerships today, Kalas, Benkovic, in the end, haven't played together. Maipa back in from the cold, Pereira, and obviously we swept them over, but Pereira, Patterson, not really played together. Jay Da Silva, O'Dowda, minimal games together. Masengo, Corey Smith, not played together. Vyman, Wells, not played together. So that's a team that's put in a performance like that against a side that's really solid, really secure, with new partnerships being forged. And that's my frustration, because I know that you've got to be able to coach this system, these players, and we've got good players, but it's got to be fast track now, because it's almost the mentality of, right, we're back into that, the basics, and you don't want to miss those basics in the cohesion, which leads to a winning performance.
Just a quick one, sort of away from Ashton Gate at the moment. Liam Walsh has been getting a lot of plaudits. I know all his teammates comparing him to Dele Alli and Lionel Messi in the week. I guess what have you made of his performance at Coventry this season? Is he a player that you're looking forward to get back in the summer and working with moving forward?
Absolutely. I think I've gone on record in saying that I really like Walsh as a player. very fond of him. I believe that to be at Championship level fighting for the Premier League, he needed 40 games on the spin. So whether that was at Bristol City or at a club in the Championship or top of League One, you could see various parts of his game that maybe would just get a little bit exposed until he's had that experience. So now he's got that experience. He's always had the talent, always had the technique to go and play as high as he wants, and it's a case of building that sort of resilience really to being a 3 points player Saturday, Tuesday. Obviously he's doing it really well, and statistically he comes out well, as if we would sign him from League One, if you know what I mean. But of course he's already ours with another year left, and I expect him to come back in next year and have a lot of games for Bristol City.
And is he someone that you see sort of giving your midfield something different, or something you've lacked since Josh Brown left it in January? You know, I guess Masengo and Corey Smith, both very hard-working players, but not necessarily that sort of creative.
Yeah, well, I think that's always the catch-22 in our teams. You know, we've got Casey, that's a creative player. Masengo is a creative player. We probably haven't quite seen it as much as we'd like in an 11-a-side game, but he's 18 years old. Hanno Masengo was fantastic today. That's an 18-year-old playing equivalent of a Premier League side. I think he's had only less minutes than Bellingham at Birmingham in terms of a player under 19 years of age, which shows you it doesn't happen a lot. You know, at this level where livelihoods are on the line, points, like, it shows you how good he is. And if you put him in the under 18s, he would be everything that you've just said. So it's just a case of nurturing that and keep giving him as many minutes as possible. And when he performs like that, it's very easy to do.
And just one more, Nicholas Eliasson obviously hasn't started the last few games. I know there were some stats that I saw recently that he seems to have been more effective from the bench in games. Is that something you're taking into consideration? Do you see him as a sort of Eddie Jones style finisher to games, or is it more just...
No, I think Nicholas is one of the best in the division when you're guaranteed to be in the ascendancy. So I think when you're in that moment where, I mean, you've built up a head of steam and cross comes in, back to the midfielders, back out wide for Nicholas, at that point is like 70% of the time he gets crosses in. Today we felt a different route. Callum's probably a bit of both. I thought Callum had a really good game today as well. He can nullify an opponent maybe a little bit better than Nicholas Eliasson. Maybe hasn't quite got that star bit of jinky nature that Eliasson's got, and that's what we're still working towards with Nicholas. He's improved massively since he's come in, both physically in terms of his output, his physical duels, and also obviously his productivity. But I think that we're not going to be able to commit to any one winger in any one for the last 9 games. We're going to have to use them in various points. And had Baker not come off, I would have made a sort of a duo, if you like, and that sort of Eliasson Jeju combination coming on. But given the fact that he'd already come off, that would have made it my 3rd sub. And then if Naki Wells then gets cramp or pulls his calf, then I'm down to 10 men. So ideally I'd have got him on the pitch a little bit earlier today, but circumstances didn't allow that.
Most of your players remember the old fist bump at the end.
Yeah,
they're getting used to it.
It was started to get elbowy now. It's moved up, so I don't know if that's a young thing or what. But